Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers laboring worldwide. And a heart of Shalom to the believers out there who's believing on the words of Yahweh, Bashar, Shine, truth, and sincerity. It's Brother Dawadah coming to you with another quick lesson. Lord willing is edifying. Got a couple of videos queued up, and we just gonna hit these precepts. Alright?
During coronavirus emergency, the Trump Department of Justice has asked Congress to craft legislation allowing the chief judges to indefinitely hold people without trial and suspend other constitutionally protected rights during coronavirus and other emergencies, according to a report by Politico's Betsy Woodruff Swan. While the ask from the Department of Justice will likely not come to fruition from the democratically controlled House of Representatives, they demonstrate how much this White House has frightening disregard for the enumerated in the Constitution.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. One man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Salakia. Alright, Salakia, we're back.
They demonstrate how much this White House has frightening disregard for the enumerated in the Constitution. The DOJ has requested Congress allow any chief judge of a district court to pause court proceedings whenever the district court is fully or partially closed due to virtue or any natural disaster, civil disobedience, or other emergency situation, according to draft language obtained by Politico. This would be applicable to any statutes or rules of procedure otherwise affecting pre-arrest, post-arrest, pre-trial, trial, and post-trial procedures in criminal and juvenile proceedings and all civil processes and proceedings. They justify this by saying currently judges can pause judicial proceedings in an emergency.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 18. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, the Libanus, to turn themselves one against another, and to repay the things that they have done to them. To who is that them? To the Israelites, right?
But the new legislation would allow them to apply it in a constituent manner. But the Constitution grants citizens habeas corpus, which gives arrestees the right to appear in front of a judge and ask to be released before trial. Enacting legislation like the DOJ once would essentially suspend habeas corpus indefinitely until the emergency ended. Further, DOJ asked Congress to suspend the statute of limitations on criminal investigations and civil proceedings during the emergency until a year after it ended. Norman L. Raymer, Executive Director of National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, told Politico the measure was terrifying, saying not only would it be a violation of habeas corpus, but it says affecting pre-arrest. So that means you could be arrested and never brought before a judge until they decide that the emergency or civil disobedience is over. I find it absolutely terrifying. Especially in a time of emergency, we should be very careful about granting new powers to the government. That is something that should not happen in a democracy, he added. DOJ also asked Congress to amend the federal rules of criminal procedures to have defendants appear at a hearing via video conference instead of in person with a defendant consent. Although in a draft obtained by Politico, the sections about requiring consent were crossed out. But it's not just Americans' rights the DOJ wants to violate. They also asked Congress to pass a law saying that immigrants who test positive for COVID-19 cannot qualify as asylum seekers. As coronavirus spreads through the country, activists are calling on politicians in office to release prisoners and immigrants held in detention centres, both of which can be hotbed of virus activity.
They're held in concentration camps. Alright, let's go to this next video.
This is Dabu7. A very important video here. This is everything that I've warned of for years now. The digital dollar. This is going to be based on blockchain. Years ago in 2017, I put out a video talking about the Beast blockchain. What would happen once we got to this point where they can convert dollars over to a digital currency flat out to where they can connect it to the blockchain. That is the big difference. The blockchain. Some people could say, oh, everything's digital anyway. We've already got a credit card. Everything's in the bank. Not that kind of digital. The digital connected to blockchain where they can track every single transaction on the planet. Everyone.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Alright? But all these things are coming to pass, man. Why? Because Yahweh Shah declared these things from the beginning. Alright? He's making his prophecies well known now. These prophecies are jumping off the page. Alright? And if you take that mark, right, there's no taking it out, man. Alright? This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. You will be punished. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man should worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So what does it mean to worship the beast or his image? It means you're following the philosophies of America. Alright? You're all in on Easter, right? You're all in on Christmas, right? It means you're following the customs of this wicked beast man who is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right? And to receive his mark, that word mark goes back to charagma, right? In the Greek, that root word is charax, which means it imprinted, something inserted inside you, right? Says his mark in his forehead or in his hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, right? And fire and brimstone is what? Those thermonuclear missiles hitting this place, man. All right?
Doing away with fiat currency. There's no more hiding money under your mattress. There's no more hiding money in your safe. Everything will be digitized. They will track every single transaction, including you, on the blockchain. That is the warning. It's been out there for years now. Here we are in a situation with this whole coronavirus crap to where it ushers in another thing to their advantage. This, the digitized dollar. It was one thing to say, oh, they're clamping down people everywhere. Freedoms are being stripped.
This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Yeah, man. That's why you see they using this coronavirus hoax to push forward their agenda, because they know they have but a short time. All right?
And all these other things, vaccine coming down the pipeline. a dream come true for them. But now you add this into the mix, it's truly everything they've ever wanted. Now, what they're looking to do here with the creation of the digital dollar is to establish a digital dollar wallet. And what will send shockwaves through the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry, they're saying, this is pretty wild. The whole idea here is to make sure that everyone can get this digital downloadable wallet so that they can get their money from the government. Now, you're probably scratching your head like, what? Why don't they just send it to me and email it to me? Well, here's why. This is the whole excuse for all of this. They are stating that per their data, there are unbanked and underbanked people out there across the country. And they say that per this FDIC report, going back to the same year I warned you about this, 2017, they identified 63 million people that are unbanked or underbanked in the United States. That's what they are saying. If checks are the form of payment, the stimulus is not going to reach many of them, is what they state. How is that? Every single person that even has food stamps or anything else like that out there has to go through a process of showing where they live, the address, a mailbox, and all this other stuff. They can still get the check and cash it if it's made out to them and they have the proper ID and they know this. But they're saying that the checks are just going to disappear for 63 million people. They're not going to get it. And the only way to assure that they're going to get it is to make sure that they've got this digital wallet on their cell phone. So for people that say, oh, what about the poor folks and the homeless folks that don't have an address? Well, how come they've got a cell phone if they don't have somewhere to live? Where's the priorities in all this? And I'm telling you, this is the cheapest excuse I've ever seen to do away with the fiat. They're not even talking about fiat. They're talking about writing checks. And
Now, this is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have the Most High said, yea, have the power said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. You see how these devils work, man? Still subtle, still initiating problems and bringing up the solution. All right?
It's not going to get to everyone, and that the answer is the digitized dollar. Warned you over and over. I've warned you over and over on all my live streams for the past 2 months over Jerome Powell and all them were taking this.
Well, he's been doing it for the last 2 months. Our elders and our apostles been doing it for over 35 years. All right? Let's go to the next video.
Scientists at Oxford University in the UK are developing a mobile app that could, they hope, help trace the spread of COVID-19. If all goes well, the app's expected to be widely adopted.
In Europe and the US, we're not going to do this in a way that has been done in China. But there are ways of using these techniques. Just because we live in a democracy doesn't mean we don't care about other people, and we're not going to act responsibly.
So, quick look then at how it would work in theory. The app's set to track where and potentially who users come into contact with. If a person then tests positive for the coronavirus, anyone who's been in contact with them over a 2-week period will be notified. Despite the app not being available yet, it's already stirring debate, though, of course, on the next issue, handling private data.
Okay, big bro.
I get the big privacy concerns, and they really worry me too. But this is definitely what will be needed, so the sooner the better, probably.
No thanks. Once they have it, they'll never give it up.
Sounds good.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that dwell in the latter time. Salakia. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand for thyself and seek out the glory, for such be like thee. In other words, these people now are having all these things happen to them because of the pride that they walked in. They've really discarded the words of Yahweh Shah. All right, they believe that their way is the right way instead of following the ways of Yahweh Shah. All right, scriptures tell you how Yahweh Shah is going to judge according to the law. All right, and those who he grant salvation to are going to have those sins forgiven, because we all go off. All right, but the ones who are trying to follow the ways of Yahweh Shah, those are the ones we are to seek the glory for. All right, verse 52. For unto you paradise is open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded. What's that city? The kingdom of heaven. All right, and rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. All right.
Good. I was already thinking that technology and big data could really help us here. We're all walking around with highly accurate GPSs these days. Why not put surveillance capitalism to good use?
Well, other developments...
And that's once again part of the beast, man. Part of the beast trying to what? Keep control over you, man. All right? And this is the beautiful work that Yahweh Shah does, man. He's been working on this earth, little by little. And 2 years ago, when he caused those snowstorms where it caused their crops, only 30% of the crops to be harvested, he caused the tariffs to come to where they weren't able to sell their crops and all the crops withered. Then he has this Brexit thing go on to where now, you're going to see in this news story to where Britain, they got 90% of their fruit from the EU countries, and now everything is quarantined off. So they're going to run out of food. And, the scriptures talk about this famine. All right?
And as nations across the globe struggle with how to cope with this new coronavirus reality, like in the U.S., the UK is seeing the same type of panic buying at their stores. Now, DEFRA, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs over in the UK, back in 2018, released a food system report, barely a page long, at least to the public, ensuring all was good and well. But experts say the UK's food supply chain is at risk following Brexit, but now further complicated by this novel coronavirus. So joining us to discuss, former UK MP George Galloway. So George, we've heard lots about potential death tolls for those who fall ill from COVID-19, projections on transmission and what have you, but we've heard very little on this topic that could potentially be more catastrophic in the long run, and that is food insecurity. Right now, only about 53% of all food consumed in the UK is produced in the country. Nearly the other half comes from outside its borders. There was a lot of uncertainty about how the UK's food supply might be impacted after Brexit. But George, now we have this virus. How can the UK go back to being more self-reliant?
Well, all that is solid has melted into air in the teeth of this epidemic, this pandemic. Who knew that we didn't have face masks even for our doctors and nurses? Who knew that we might actually run out of food? Who knew that panic buying, which is essentially legalized looting, would leave the supermarket shelves absolutely bare from around 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning. I've just been in 2 supermarkets for my own family's necessities. There's nothing to be found, Manila. People are descending like a horde of locusts on everything.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, their unbelief. All right? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hopeful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more concerning the wickedness which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Yeah, we're in the land of our captivity. Wherever we're scattered, guess what? We're in the land of our captivity. All right? But I will bring them with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Right? So keep in mind, he didn't destroy all the land in ancient Egypt.
And taking away much more than they can possibly need. And a lot of food will be going to waste, rotting, because it can't possibly be eaten, the amount that it's been bought in. And then there's the issue you've just highlighted, that actually not just 50% nearly of all Britain's food comes from outside of the country, but when you talk about fruit and vegetables, it's 80 to 90% coming from outside the country.
See that? They got this big Brexit thing going on, man, where they're no longer, trading with those European Union countries. All right? And this is the beautiful work of Yahweh Shai, putting everything into play at the same time. You got the locusts, the plague of the locusts that hit Africa, right? And hit moving into the continent of Asia, right? So what are all these things going to do? These things are going to bring past the words of Yahweh Shai. Matter of fact, let's go get a couple of scriptures and then we're going to close it out. Numbers chapter 23 and verse 19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Yeah. All these words that Yahweh Shai has declared are going to come to pass. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, and verse 10. You know what? Verse 8. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind. O ye transgressors, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. It's going to be it for the lesson. Lord willing, it's been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers labor worldwide. Till the next time, Lord willing, with another lesson. Shalom.